Welcome back to the channel. It's Uncle Roig. Listen, we're going to talk about should we buy new or should we buy used. I just want to go over some of the mistakes I made for many, many years, and hope this information finds you well. Anyways, when I was a lot younger, was bringing in a lot of money. Everything's going good. And I just kept making the same mistake over and over and over again. And that mistake was buying new vehicles. I literally just, looking back on it now, I assume that everybody knows this, but I, of course, didn't myself. I went on later to sell cars, so I got a good grasp of how this works. Using some round numbers, if you buy a new vehicle, let's just say it's 50 grand, the minute you put the key in it and drive off the lot, it's maybe worth 40. You'd be lucky. If you turn around and brought it back in, we'd be lucky to give you 40 for it, put 45 on it. Someone comes in and says, I'll give you 42, and the dealership makes a little bit of money. That's just how it works. So I had made this mistake of buying this new vehicle, and then, you drive it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you get 50, 60,000 miles on it, driving a lot, and then you go to trade it in, and then you find out that you're 10, 12, 13,000 upside down. And a lot of people buy vehicles with no money down. I was guilty of that as well. And man, oh man, I snowballed myself into big, huge, bad car payments. That was one of the things that held me back, not only mentally, but, financially as well, too. And then it keeps you at that job that you hate because you're scared and you just want to leave. To put it into perspective for you, I just watched Ben Mala here on YouTube. He's a real estate guy, but he was saying how to buy a car, and this is on a bigger scale, but it goes to put it into perspective. He goes and he's been driving the same Rolls Royce for many years. He goes to go get a new one, and he's like, look, I don't buy new, I buy used. He finds one with very little miles on it, maybe a year old, 2 years old, something like that. It's 100 grand off what the sticker price was. He was like, I'm not stupid enough to go and pay, full price for it when I'm just going to drive the thing anyways. It's not something that's getting put up in a garage and sit around forever. And this is a guy who has a net worth of 300 million plus. So, going on this journey of trying to get wealthy, buying new vehicles will hold you back. I know it held me back, so I'm trying to pass this information along. Not to mention, when you take on a nice, big, fat, brand new car payment, you stretch the thing out from 72 to 84 months. Man, at the end of that loan, if you even make it that long, if you keep a vehicle 7 years, which, stop and question to yourself, have you really kept a car 5, 6, or even like 7 years? Have you ever really done that? At the end of that loan, that car will be worth nothing, or vehicle. You will have put so many miles on it, it will have went through hell and back, and it honestly is worth nothing. We know all vehicles at some point are going to go to zero, so I try to invest the least amount in it that I have to, but also getting something nice, comfortable, and safe, correct? So no car payments is the whole key. And again, buying a vehicle, I used to be so naive. I'd buy a vehicle, and then I think one time I traded in a vehicle because it needed new tires. Apparently I wasn't smart enough at the time, and again, I'm not afraid to admit my own faults. But I bought a new vehicle, and 30,000 miles or so into it, 40,000 miles into it, needed tires, and tires were going to be like, I don't know, it was like 600 or 700 at the time. And I was just shocked, like, oh my God, I can't even afford to get these tires. So I trade the thing in, get a new vehicle that has even a higher payment. They stretch it out a little bit, so it's not extremely high, but I just started all back over again over a set of tires. Like, you can't buy a vehicle and realistically think you buy a car for 20, 30, say 40,000, that it was never going to need a dime. Like, spending 40 grand on a car and putting 800 bucks in tires, that's not a lot of money in comparison to what you're spending. So I always try to buy used. I always try to buy a year, 2 years old. At least, if it's under factory warranty, great. Again, everybody wants something safe. It's not the go buy, something that doesn't run, is going to break down all the time. But buying new, you can find, there are people who will lease a car for a year, put 10,000 miles on it, barely drive it, turn it back in, and The thing has nothing wrong with it. It's had one oil change and it's under factory warranty. There's really nothing to worry about. So hope this information finds you well. I don't want to see you making the same mistakes I did, just snowballing myself. I must have went through 5 to 10 new vehicles in like a 12-year span, and it was just a really bad idea. But anyways, if you're enjoying this content, please fist bump the like button for me, subscribe, share the video. Again, I hope this information finds you well. Comment below. Let me know what's going on in your world. Until next time, sheesh.